invited guests. Dr. Sullivan, would you do the honor of the introductions?
Well, I certainly, I will. I'm going to actually pass off the honor of the introduction, but I just want to thank Dr. Blair Duncan, students, and we have Ed Savage, who is our department chair for science 6 through 12, does a fabulous job. And I'm going to let Ed do the honors of introducing our wonderful guests and collaboration.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Like a student, I'll read off my phone. Thank you. So for tonight's Spotlight on Learning, we're featuring the Marine Club or the Marine team. We're still working on the name. Ponds are generally accepted for that sort of thing. It's a student-initiated club who meets under the direction of Dr. Blair Duncan. I've been helping, as has Jack Buckley, more so from his experience at CSCR, Cohasset Center for Student Coastal Research. The marine science courses have worked, as well as CSCR has worked with the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, continues to collect and process data regarding the health of Cohasset's watershed system. They will be presenting tomorrow night at the State of the Park at 7 o'clock. Be there. And they will continue their work in preparation for the statewide civics fair at Clark University in June, where they will be one of 20 districts represented out of the approximately 300 districts across the state. So that's an incredible opportunity for the students. They've done a lot of work. Mr. Buckley actually helped to procure this poster, which I think the students would, I don't know where the right spot to hold this is.
Well, actually, I can put it right up here.
You actually have
On the screen when it's time to do that. We do have one technical issue is that we're sort of stuck on that view that you saw. I usually can manipulate the camera, focus right in on you. I can't do that. But if we'll have those students and Dr. Duncan come on up to the front here, we should have no problem with that. Dr. Duncan, is it best for me to keep this on the screen as you present? Is that helpful?
It's up to you guys.
And feel free to pull up another chair if you need one. I was guessing, I thought, I was only one off. It's not too bad. I also note that we have Mr. Buckley. I know the committee's met Mr. Buckley and his great work with CSCR in the back. I'm sure he's part of the presentation too, and feel free to pull up a chair. So was it better, students, if I leave this up there for you?
Sure. With that up, the people in the audience don't see you. With it down, they'll see you.
They don't see you as much. So I'll take it down just for now. But if you need me to put it back up there, I certainly will. So welcome and thank you all for the great work you're doing. I'm very excited for the presentation. So take it away.
This club stems from the marine science program that we had, where we learned about ocean chemistry and the general importance of ecosystems. And then we used what we learned from that to simulate the ecosystems of Cohasset Harbor with rocky intertidal aquariums. And to do this, we collected water and sand from local beaches, and then we collected organisms such as seaweed, minnows, crabs, and snails from the beaches too. And then we maintained those tanks in small groups and monitored levels such as pH, salinity, and oxygen for several weeks. And then after we released the animals to where we caught them. We also went on a 2-day field trip to CSCR, where we collected water samples and prepared them to test for bacteria. Then on the second day, we looked at the results of those tests and discussed the importance of the tests for the harbor. And then at the end of the course, we used the data collected at CSCR during the summer to make a conditions report of the harbor, which is currently still under draft.
Can we introduce all the students?
Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Francis Borio.
And maybe just say what grade you're in.
I'm Francis Borio, and I'm a junior at CHS.
Emma Thornton, I'm a senior. Leah Scortrito, I'm a junior.
Jackson Backus, I'm a senior.
Elena Kane, I'm a junior.
Welcome.
All right. So after the course was closed, the students decided that they want to continue on researching the marine, the Cohasset watershed marine environment. So they formed this marine club. And one of the first things that we did is we went over to Lightkeepers for a conference on meaningful watershed educational experiences. And the real purpose of the conference was to hear student voices and what they wanted their educational experience to be, and just listen to how that they could potentially inform future research of the harbor and give that research to the Cohasset town to help inform future decisions. So it was really all about hearing the students and hearing what they had to say and hearing what they wanted to get out of their educational experience. And here's Caitlin.
Students may not be completely aware of this, but our actual vision for Cohasset Public Schools is to empower students to improve communities. So you're really living that by the work you do with CSCR, with Dr. Duncan. So thank you for that. So keep going anyway. I don't mean to
All right, well,
digress.
if you're, I know you just ran in the door, but if you're ready, would you like to say what you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself too? Just
So I'm Caitlin Scott. I'm a junior here at Cohasset,
Great.
and I don't know what's already been mentioned yet, but sorry,
Take your time.
I did a lot of running to get here. We did this really, really wonderful event. I think it was February 16th, where we as the students, the Marine Club, kind of went to this workshop to discuss how the MeWe grant was kind of going to be used and to work together as a team, which was very, very interesting. And it was a really great experience for, I think, us, especially as students, to have our voices heard. We're also going to a civics fair in June, which is competition. But we are working towards that. I know we have the poster draft and whatever.
Yep.
So that's very exciting, and it's definitely going to help us work together as a team and try and get our views out to the public and help with the community and connecting students to the community and have kind of that pathway.
that's nice. Anyone else?
Oh, yeah. So we were given some data from CSCR, just some like temperature data, oxygen and like oxygen concentration in the water, like the acidity. And what we got to do, we got to like analyze that. And I don't know, it's
Yeah, I can actually,
displayed on the poster.
I'll put it up here.
Oh, all right. But basically, yes, we got to analyze it, and we just learned that our harbor is like normal. Nothing to take wrong with it.
What kind of analysis did you do?
Like
What'd you look at?
in marine science, like for this club, we looked at like how rainfall affected bacteria levels. And we learned that with increased rainfall, bacteria in the harbor would also increase. And then some of the other data on there is just like temperature versus depth in the top right corner there, like just normal stuff. Like it gets colder as it gets deeper. And then there's also how oxygen affects pH, I think. I'm not sure, but there's also a map in the center that shows where the highest acidity in the harbor is. And we learned that it's right where all the fresh water is coming out into the harbor. And that's normal because fresh water is more acidic than ocean water. And the blue and red graph in the middle there shows that just the acidity in like, the inner portion of the harbor is a bit lower, or I mean greater than the acidity in the outer harbor. But just kind of to summarize, it's normal. It's not any different than anywhere else in the South Shore. Yeah.
Excellent.
For the educational experience, I'm sure that like me and my peers are very grateful to have this opportunity in the marine biology course. Because throughout the whole thing, we've gone through a few different excursions from the beach all the way to the lightkeepers, which has greatly improved our knowledge and our teamwork throughout this, helping us like push our knowledge towards the harbor, towards the community to make us like all united one
Mhm.
piece.
That's great. What was that?
So coming as a person who did not take the marine science class and instead heard that there was this club and was kind of like, oh yeah, the civics project, I should do that. I put a lot less in than I got out, but like slowly doing the Lightkeepers experience and learning about how this grant was going to get used and how the class was formed, I learned a lot, not just on marine science, but on like science classes as a whole, because I always saw them as like a take notes and learn this. And so it was really unique to learn about the marine science class's goal and that there's a purpose behind what we're doing. And it was really meaningful.
It's awesome. It's great.
So like Leah said, I also did not take Dr. Duncan's science courses. That was actually a regret. Sorry about that. But I did get to spend a lot of time in the harbor. I row, and I've been rowing for 6 years now. So I spent a lot of time on the harbor, and naturally my curiosity just kind of like got the better of me. And I learned about this club and I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to learn more about the harbor. So now I'm here.
It's amazing you lived somewhere your whole life and not really.
Very hard to access the water on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's great.
Very brief plug here, but it just shows the need for inquiry-based learning, and that civics piece really is something we'd like to see in a lot of the elective courses like environmental science and other courses that we offer here. The civics project that we're going to showcase in June, I think we're still working towards, and has actually taken it upon herself to do an independent study with Dr. Duncan on Dr. Duncan's leadership this quarter as a senior, so that's very impressive. But thank you so much for the time. If you have any questions about the process, next steps, you can do our best to answer those.
Wonderful. And I would absolutely agree with that. I know Dr. Scoggins would too. The inquiry-based nature of this is exactly what we want to push towards. And also, I will say, and I know this is near and dear to Mr. Buckley too, is using the coast, which is such a great resource for us for learning as much as possible, because you learn so much with that real authentic experience of being there and, doing the analysis where it's actually going on. It's such a wonderful opportunity. So we're very thankful for that collaboration. And I wasn't able to get there, but I was able to tweet some of your pictures, which is nice, because so I can see this happening, and very impressive. And I hope, and I'm gathering that this experience is going to help you as you move forward, whether you go to college or whatever you decide to do, because of the real authentic nature of it. And I love the idea of getting voices together too, and listening to voices to improve the community. That's great. Great. So, turn it over to you.
Speaking of voices, any voices from the committee members? Mr. Carr?
So I'm fascinated by the ocean, but I also, beginning my career, I worked at the Commerce Department, which houses NOAA. So I had, by the way, they have the best fish fry ever once a year. But it is really remarkable what you can learn from the ocean. So when you go on to do other things, I hope it might be a career that you think about. And you don't have to go far from Massachusetts. Some of the best research is done here. So if I end up in Woods Hole and see the Marine Biological Institute and Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, until recently, the largest nonprofit in the world ran their Marine and Aquatic Research Division. Battelle Memorial Institute was in Duxbury. So we do all this kind of really cool stuff. So I hope you think my daughter Cece is a senior. She's going to college next year. And so I hope this maybe leads to something that you might want to do. I'll share a story with you. I recently ended up at a Coast Guard station in the Florida Keys. And they took us on an outing, and they took us to a place that saves sea turtles. And they were telling us about all these sea turtles, and we're overlooking this big lagoon. And a few years ago during COVID, a bunch of baby sea turtles got stranded here in New England. And on the back of one of them was the name of the turtle, Zoe. And then below it, it said Minot. And everybody there could not pronounce Minot. And it turns out that 20 sea turtles were rescued in Cape Cod Bay, and they were flown to a place where they are rehabbing and will be released back to the ocean in Marathon Key, in the Florida Keys. So really interesting connection between New England and other places around the world. So it really is fascinating. I hope you think about it as a career as you move on.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Ms. St. Ange?
Thank you all for sharing your parts. I love hearing from you guys. Curious, obviously you're all different years in school. What is the future of the Marine Club to be officially named later? What does that look like? How does that carry on? Are you like actively recruiting? Does it stay mostly this group? What do you see for your future? For those of you who will be here.
So far, we're thinking about continuing the club and trying to get more people to join.
Mhm.
We're just like waiting to see like how it goes, since this is our first year actually having it.
Mhm.
So we're like excited to see what happens.
And to add on to that, I know like specifically like my friend group, while a lot of them are into like STEM stuff, not all of them are super interested in the harbor. So I'm kind of pushing and prodding at them to join. But I think that a lot of students don't necessarily understand the opportunities that we have, especially living right on like in Cohasset and with the access that we have to the water. So it's kind of something we have to reveal to them through projects like this.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Mr. McCall?
I'm interested to learn more about the aquariums that you guys created. So, where were they? How big were they? And how did you guys keep the water moving through them? Could you explain a little bit more about them?
Yeah, they were tanks that were about this big and this tall, and we had them in Dr. Duncan's room. We were in small groups, about 3 or 4, and we just maintained our tanks. We had aquarium filters on them that moved the water and oxygenated it. And then to keep the temperature down, we were freezing water bottles and changing them out every class.
Okay.
I think that one takes.
Wow, yeah, that's cool, that's cool. Did any other, like, because that might be an interesting way, like, if you're able to do it in a place where other students can see it, might be an interesting way to gain some interest in what you're doing, just because it's like such like a engaging sort of, oh, like what the people love aquariums, right? And so I realize there's not like, you don't have like a piranha in there or anything like that, but like it's still interesting, right?
Some really good looking.
Exactly. So just, I don't know, just a thought, like it might be a way to engage people if they're in a little bit more of they're a bit more of an exhibition. And I understand you got to keep it from, it's got to be kept clean. You don't want people dropping things in there or anything like that, but I don't know, just a thought. Sounds pretty cool. So the seniors, are you guys, are any of you going to college next year? Are you guys like undeclared? Or are you thinking of like, are you guys going into like a science related discipline? Yes?
I'm actually going into marine biology.
You are? That's awesome. See, I love that.
Where are you going?
I haven't fully committed yet, but right now, Providence College.
I went to Providence College. Yeah.
You too could be on the school committee.
Yeah. I think I'm at the lowest rung of the alumni there. So you're starting. It's like the baseline is being on the school committee. So, how about you said you mentioned you were going to college as well?
Yeah, I don't know where yet, but I want to study aviation science.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you just go get all your pilot's licenses and
Sure.
just ship off to an airline.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, that's exciting for you guys. Seems like certainly this is a great outlet for your science related interests. And I loved hearing from you that, I think your name is Leah, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Leah, I love hearing when you mentioned that it sort of opened your eyes to a world of science being a lot more than just, learning and taking notes in a classroom. Because we are always trying to promote project-based learning experiences for the school district. And this is a true project-based learning experience. This is as project-based learning as it gets. And you can see the benefits of it where, it has given at least our 2 seniors an outlet for their interests and also an outlet for other people that aren't graduating yet and going on to college maybe, but for you guys to refine some interest in science. Seems like you have a really, really, heightened interest in it or defined interest in it. So it's really interesting to hear from you and your perspective. Well, thank you guys for sharing this. And I'm really glad that you participated in this and that we had this offered to our students. Thank you so much, for bringing this to them, for our school, to our school district. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ms. McClellan. Oftentimes in these meetings, I'll just repeat what Ms. McClellan says, because we're both really into the experiential learning and inquiry-based learning and project-based learning. There's something about, and you guys mentioned it in your presentation. By the way, great job. This is always hard, especially when you come in, drop in from the sky at the last minute. It's
Out of
really
breath.
you're out of breath. Well done. It's the experiential learning. You actually learn how things, and you guys mentioned it, how things that you're learning in class really apply in the real world and how they can help out. So I'm glad you're able to have that experience and then bring it to a club. I totally admire the entrepreneurial aspect. Let's create a club. Let's keep this going. So great job to you all. I do have one question though, and Dr. Sullivan, I don't know if you can pull up the Cohasset Harbor thing,
Yeah, I will.
but I have one question on this.
It was
What's-
flashing for some reason.
Yeah, it was flashing. What's going on with Atlantica? Why does it have so much foam bacteria?
That is the question.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Mr. Buckley because that's an area that we began to investigate. I don't want to say we began because my group began to investigate it last year. I worked over the summer with the bacteria team. You had protocols for years prior. I'll let you speak to that a bit and I can jump in if needed. Give us the full history.
I could say, come to the State of the Harbor tomorrow night.
Okay. There we go. It's a nice
To
plug
learn
for the
that
State of the
answer
Harbor.
at 7 o'clock at Woken Commons, but it truly is a mystery. But
Yeah.
it dissipates as the current brings it along past the cove, past the lobster car, past the yacht club, as it gets pulled out to sea on the outgoing
Yeah.
tide. It does dissipate, but it is screaming
Right there.
screaming with bacteria.
Well, we need the Marine Club to figure it out for us.
Yeah,
So you guys have a mission. So, well, thank you all very much. Thank you for making this a reality for our students. Thank you guys for your entrepreneurial efforts and looking to give back to the community. And for those of you who are seniors, best of luck next year. For those of you who aren't, we'll see you making a difference next year. So,
Thank you very much for your support and also for inviting us here so we can share your experience with you.
the pleasure was ours. Thank you.
Great
And
job,
good luck
guys.
with the State of the Harbor. Thank you. Thank you for your continued collaboration with us.
thank you. One quick shout out to the students who have been meeting Mondays and Fridays. And I don't know how many other days in between that, but Mondays and Fridays at Utility.
Yes.
So they've been dedicating all of their time
Great.
to that.
Thank you.
And Ed and Blair have been
Yep.
super in terms of collaborating.
I'm not
So
surprised. Thank you, Dr. Duncan, and thank you, Mr. Savage. Thanks, students.
Bye, everybody.
All right. So next agenda item is a informative one, schools and town meeting. This is something that Mr. Cars advised us to put on the agenda, and I agree it's very important because town meeting is where we really get to have our voices as citizens heard. And there are a couple items on